Hi, it's Stephen here from Sound of Nation Wave, and I just coming to do a quick video about Samhain to mark the Sabbath of Samhain that I'm celebrating today. Wasn't sure if I was going to do one or not, but I wanted to mark the occasion in some way. I do love the Wheel of the Year, and I love what it celebrates. So, what does Samhain mean to me? Well, to me, it's at the beginning of we're entering into the dark half of the year. Samhain is a Gaelic word that I understand from my research means summer's end. It marks the end of summer. Samhain is also the last of the harvests, the seed harvests, and um, it's like before we enter into the winter period. So we've been preparing through the different harvests, gathering the stuff, gathering the fruits of what we've gained for our efforts in the previous months, and we're taking that and to help us to sustain us through this winter dark half time that Samhain marks. To me, that it's one that pagans and witches and various people that follow this kind of path, that follow the Wheel of the Year, treat as very special. Um, of course, think that that's mainly for us in the Northern Hemisphere, of course, because I think I'm trying to look at it. It's either Beltane or Liffey. I can't remember which is the opposite in the Southern Hemisphere. But let's talk Samhain because that's what I'm talking about here today. And it's also a time where we remember those that have gone before us. It's said that at this time, that Samhain comes more or less, between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice, Yule, which comes up in December. Um, and it's said to be, along with, I think it's Beltane, where the thinning of the veil is um, is the thinnest, whichever the one that they're doing at the moment in the southern hemisphere. So um, so there's the thinning of the veil where we connect more easily with the unseen realms, with the spiritual realms, and that's what we mark at this time of year. And I think that's very important, and it's a time we tend to remember those that have gone on into the spirit realm, our ancestors, people that we know that have passed and gone on, that have preceded us and gone before, and we honor them and invite them to join their spirits, with us to celebrate this time of year, and in that celebration of them and what they achieved and how they prepared the way for us, and how they even help us from the unseen realm even now. I strongly believe that. So that to me is what Samhain's all about. And it's entering into this dark over the year where we can go within ourselves. We go into our inner darkness, where we go into our very self and gain lessons and growth that it gives us that empowerment and builds us up ready for when that this when spring comes, when the life returns more back to the earth and the warmth returns, and the earth begins to sprout forth again with life. And thinking about that it always think about the story of Persephone. Um, and she was the daughter of Zeus and of Demeter, the fertility agriculture goddess. And there's the famous story that I'm sure some of you will know, but if you don't, that she was out in the fields picking flowers and everything, and Hades from the underworld um, came up from the underworld and on his chariot, and he took her down into the underworld. And Demeter her mother was very grief stricken. She was going throughout the earth trying to find her, and she was so angry and devastated by this. It preoccupied her, and there, there, there's different versions. So as to who was involved, did Zeus know about this? Did he give the okay for this? There's one version I know where Demeter more or less refused to bring life and fruitfulness to the earth, and it was going to bring starvation and barrenness, until her daughter was returned, and that convinced Zeus to intervene. Now, whether he intervened, he didn't know about it. Like he must have known something about it, with being the head of the gods, in my mind. Um, but he commanded that Hades release Persephone back to Demeter, but she'd eaten some pomegranate seeds or whatever within the underworld, and that tied her to the underworld and meant that she couldn't be totally free of it. And so there was this um, concept that for a third of the year, she would go back to Hades in the underworld and be with him, and the other 2/3 of the year she would be back with her mother, and she often call the goddess of spring. She would come when she come back to the earth at springtime. That's when the spring flowers would begin to bloom again, and the life of the earth was restored, and the winter was over, and that's how the seasons, and so now we're starting the dark half of the year. It means that Persephone has gone back into the underworld, and the earth is beginning to cool down, and life's beginning to ebb away, and the leaves will fall from the trees, and the flowers will die, most of them anyway, and the ground will be frozen or cold or whatever until through the winter months, until we get to spring again. And that explains this changing of the season. And I love that story, and it's so illustrative of the cycles of nature. And that story of Persephone is one that I like to think about at this Samhain time. Now, also, I mentioned about going inwardly and going into that. We can, with Persephone, can connect to Persephone and descend into the underworld ourselves, into this dark half of the year, where we can learn so much and grow so much. Even though we may be limited on where we can go and what we can do because of the winter climate and the conditions that we face, spiritually, it can be a very rewarding time if we approach it the right way, and we can take our inner light that we've gained from the light half of the year into the dark half of the year to guide us through it. And I found a tarot spread, a Persephone tarot spread, about diving deep into the darkness of ourselves, that covers this. I found it on a YouTube channel as I was flicking through the YouTube channels, and I shall list the channel I found it on. I shall list the video and give credit to the person whose name I've forgotten now off the top of my head, but it will be in the description to give credit, of course, because it's not my spread, it's their spread. that I saw on their video, but they were sharing it for us to use. So I don't believe that I've infringed anything on that. I'm not stealing it because I'm going to give them credit for it. But I think it's a very good spread. What I shall do is turn over the camera and show you the spread by doing the spread for myself. So here it is. Okay, so we're going to do the Persephone spread that I was referring to just now. And the first card is about what do I need to know as I descend into the dark half of the year. So we're talking about descending into the underworld, and we're going down into the dark half of the year as Persephone did. And so what do I need to know? And this is the central theme, the central message. Okay, here we go. And the first card is this is the Devil card. Okay, right. Well, we'll go over it once we've got the whole spread. The second card is what support from the other side do I receive? What support from the other side, from the unseen realm, from ancestors, from spirit guides, from going into the universe? What support do I receive? What help and support do I receive? And this goes underneath because it's supporting. And we have the Five of Cups. Not sure I'm going to get all of these on, but here we go. Okay, and the third card is what protects and covers during this descent. What protects and covers me? So here we go. This is the King of Pentacles. Let's see if I can just here we go. Let's try and get it into shot. Okay, and the fourth card is what wisdom do I carry over from the light half of the year? So what wisdom have I gained from the light half of the year to take into this dark half? What lessons have I learned? Take that kind of soda out of the way. It's suddenly come into shot because I've refocused. Okay, and we have the Eight of Pentacles. Some practical things coming here. And then the final card is the gift of this time that will empower me. Now, how you want to interpret the story of Persephone, in the end, she was empowered in the underworld by becoming queen of the underworld. She was enthroned alongside Hades, so she entered her own personal power and authority. So what gift enables us to do, well, it enables me, this is my spread, of course, but you can do this spread too. The gift of this time is the Hierophant. Okay, so very interesting spread, actually. So, what do I need to know as I descend into the dark half of the year? And it's the devil. Be careful to be careful and be aware of my shadow side, first and foremost. And not to using the ghost tarot, of course, that I've been using throughout this past month. And to not relinquish my power to another person, another situation, to retain my power and not let circumstance or persons or anything take that power and strength from me. To exercise my own control over my path and not to yield that to anything else. To be wary that perhaps I may be vulnerable during the half of the year to vices and things that I may turn to for comfort, that maybe not be good for me. I know that in these cold winter nights, I know sometimes I'm prone to overeat, to eating things. We do that, I mean, particularly coming up to Europe, to Christmas, where we will eat a lot. I mean, that's okay. We can let go for a bit, but keep it under control, not to get carried away and become overindulgent, because that can be adverse to our health. Becoming, being tied and chained to food as a comfort. That's can be one of my weaknesses during the dark half of the year, perhaps. It's things like that this refers to. So it's not to relinquish my power, and to stand firm in it, and to in my power, and to be careful that I don't yield myself or the control of my path to something outside of myself, that I maintain that control. Okay, so what support from the other side? Well, the Five of Cups, it's emotional support. And that could tie in as well, that my emotional support can come from the other side, from my ancestors, from my guides, from my deities, from spiritual connections, from other people, from the spirit realm. I can receive comfort, and not to dwell upon the past and past losses, but to focus on what I have. The support is concentrating on what I have now, and not what I used to have, but what I still have, what I have, and what I can use as I go forward. That's the support, I believe, that this is referring to. Just realized I've got another 8 in this. What wisdom do I carry with me from the light half of the year? Well, this is the 8 of Pentacles, isn't it? We've just heard. Oh, that was the 5. Sorry, I thought it was the 8. It wasn't the 8 of Cups. It was the 5 of Cups. Of course, it was. So this is the 8 of Pentacles, and this is all about the getting to the flow and commitment and dedication, and just keeping on with the tasks at hand and keep persevering, even fulfilling commitments and responsibilities. To keep doing that, they don't suddenly cease just because we've entered the dark half of the year. I mean, she's dedicating herself. She's still wearing the dress. She's still tired for him. He's reading his book. He's going to finish that book, even if it takes him beyond the end of his physical life. Well, that's how I see this card. It's that dedication to the work at hand. And the final card is the gift of this time that leads to the empowerment. The Hierophant is to learn from the traditions of this dark half, learn lessons or spiritual lessons. Use this time to learn and grow spiritually in knowledge and experience. And that's where the empowerment is going to come in, from the knowledge that I will gain, and not just head knowledge, but knowledge of the heart as well, that's passed down. Maybe learning from traditional, whatever belief system that we follow is, but it's always people that have gone before us. And when at this time we're thinking of ancestors, those that have gone before us, well, think about the spiritual teachers that have gone before us, the spiritual pioneers that have gone before us, that have left their knowledge behind, and we can take hold of it and apply it to our lives. And it's the knowledge applied where the power comes, not just knowledge contained in the mind, but knowledge applied in life, where the real empowerment comes. And that's where it gives us our power, which we must not yield or give over to an external source. Being careful where our power lies. It must lie within us, and we shouldn't attach ourselves and give the power to something else. And that is really the message of this Persephone spread for me. So I'll leave the a description of this spread in the description, and hopefully if you want to try it, you can try it. But this is the spread. So I'll finish by saying farewell to you all. Happy Samhain, and blessed be. And I hope that you, as we enter the dark half of the year, you will have the light within you to guide you until we once again experience spring and the rebirth of the earth. So, and ourselves. So, okay, I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.